Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth round of Formula Sprint 2 2024 from GPVWC. We have two races once again for you today, and we are back to China, which is wonderful actually, to be honest. I really like this track. It's an absolute tyre beater. Less important in Formula Sprint 2, but of course still something that the people racing today will have to consider. And once again, we do have some weather involved. So I'm joined by Alex Foulkes. And Alex, what do you think will happen today? Do you think the weather's going to play a part or not?
Well, if you're weather in the mix, it'll certainly be an interesting race, that's for sure. With tyre management, the wet tyres seem to be slightly worse. So for once, strategy might actually come into play here in Shanghai with the tyre degradation. Like you said, it's not that much of an issue, but some people are struggling, it seems. So hopefully we'll have an interesting race ahead of us today.
Absolutely. The tyre wear situation in Formula Sprint 2 is you don't get anywhere near having to do a pit stop, but if you can keep your tyres in better shape than the competition, you will have more pace towards the end of the race. And on a heavy tyre deg track, that performance differential is exacerbated, and you do have a bigger difference between those who can look after their tyres well for the whole race and those who don't. We are moving straight into qualifying today, and we are watching one of the Apex. Well, in fact, we just switched to I'm not sure, is that Magnussen? I believe he set the fastest time in practice. That is Patrick Magnussen. And KV86 powerhouse driver showing some good speed in the practice session.
Yeah, he was the fastest out of all the drivers in practice, and he seems to have good pace for qualifying from what I've heard from Christian Bastar, the KV86 team boss. So good prospects for them, hopefully, and I'm very interested to see whether we're going to have a similar qualifying session to what we did in Suzuka, where we're going to have a first half of just dry running, and then maybe rain gets involved in the later stages and sort of just solidifies the order as it is and freezes it.
Yes, it's going to be interesting. It's currently dry out on track. From what I can see, there's no specks of rain. He has a very interesting line through kind of turn 2, I guess, the left-hander, where he states like, no, it is indeed raining. So this will be an interesting session. Everyone did their sort of fastest laps at the start of the session last time out. This may not be the case here. Of course, we were at Suzuka last time out, and you do get a lot of different weather conditions there. China is known for some wet races occasionally, but less common, I would say. But it is raining today, so let's see what these FS2 drivers can do.
It seems like East Asia really dislikes FS2. In the sense, we've got rain in the past 3 races that we've had in East Asia. Of course, Australia, I guess if you want to call that Australia, Asia at least, and Japan, and now Shanghai. We've got rain once again. Of course, intermittent here, but still seems to be interesting, to say the least. Usually when you have rain, it's either on or off, but this one can't make its mind up, and it sort of reminds me a bit of the UK, really.
Yes, we do have varying weather conditions at all times. This has been an okay lap from Magnussen. He, like everyone else, will be setting purple lap time or purple sectors. He's on a 51.3 to start the session off, which is, as the times come tumbling in, currently top of the charts, if you like. He did do a 50.3 in practice, I believe. So definitely some more pace in the car, but it's just whether the weather conditions will allow it. Karala crossing the line, and you can see the time differential there. He's a couple of seconds off. So everyone's done their first lap. The tyres are decent enough to do 2 flying laps in one go. Whether or not they can really hold up for those 2 laps, whether in practice that actually works or not is yet to be seen. But there's plenty of time in the session left, 10 minutes to go, but it is drizzling with rain. You can see the wet marks on that beautifully liveried Excellion Motorsport car as he goes down the long back straight. Here at China, it's extremely long, and with no DRS, it's all going to be about slipstreaming when we come to the race. But in qualifying, it is a private session, nobody else visible on track for you, so it means you do get nice clear laps in.
And if you're watching along, I'd like you all to play a game of guessing which liveries has Toby designed in the FS2 grid. And if you can guess successfully, No prizes, but good job.
I don't know what you're talking about. Personally, I think look at this from Neon Dix. Beautiful lines on that car as he goes down the back straight and chasing after his teammate, I suppose.
Sure.
It's all about braking it down into the hairpin, though. Here, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, it's one of the harder points on the track, and especially with the rain. I suspect a lot of people are going to be looking up, not really the fronts, as you don't tend to recognize that from a like spectator's point of view at least. But the rears could definitely be an issue for some drivers, and I would be very surprised if we don't see someone spinning as they enter to the final sort of hairpin. Really, the last real sort of corner that's challenging 20 of the drivers.
Some interesting times being set as we see Foulkes figures driving for GPVWC Academy at this particular round. We've got Casper Kurritz, who's managed to secure a drive with one of the teams. He's up in P3 at the moment. He was new to the series. Was it last time out or the round before? But either way, he joined through the Academy team, Menno Klontz, picking people from the Academy series to drive in FS2 and hopefully promote their name in order to get them a full-time seat, and it's worked for Kurritz. As Foulkes comes through the final corner, this has been a reasonably slow lap by the standard of the pace setters, and in fact I wonder if the track conditions are not improving at the moment. It seems a little bit slick out there, as most drivers not setting green sectors, which is their personal best. Here's Massimiliano Riboli, who will be disappointed to be down in 29th. He's been a top 10 runner all season. Definitely has the potential to take race victories, but I wonder if he didn't. Well, he hasn't set a lap time yet, so I wonder if he extended or did a track limits violation on his initial run, and now is going to struggle to set a competitive time if the rain continues as it does, as he goes through the left, right, and the very long banked corner that leads onto the back straight. Magnussen had an interesting line here. He stayed very tight through the corner, as Riboli has done a little bit, not using all of the available space on the outside. I think it's probably in these slightly less powerful cars that we have here in FS2. I think it's probably a better line to keep it tight through there. It certainly was the case at certain tracks like Monza, for example. If you stay tight through Parabolica, the last corner there in the FS2 car, because of the nature of the power of the car, it's actually better to take the shortest line possible rather than use all of the available track as he flies through the final corner. Easy to extend on the outside there and crosses the start finish line, and he moves up to 17th, but that is 1.7 seconds off our provisional pole sitter Magnussen, who is half a second ahead of his teammate Turmella, by the way. So clearly track conditions not favourable right now, as we see Tawhid Ahmed not driving down the straight and a little bit onto the grass as he goes into the hairpin. The Bangladeshi British driver heading into the final corner now, but there's nobody kind of in the top 15 currently setting personal best, so we're looking at the drivers further down the grid for the minute. Alex has just BRB'd to me, so he will be back momentarily. I'll carry on talking as Ahmed sets a 57.4, so, and slides through the first corner. That will do his tyre wear no good at all, and he will have to box and go again, but I just don't see the conditions improving at all, to be honest with you. It's very wet out there, I think, by now, and this should be spicy for the race, actually, if it continues at this current progress, the weather. And it certainly does look like we're going to have this stick around for a while. I wonder if the crossover point 2 wets is nearing. I'm not sure what the actual crossover lap time would be, but certainly it feels like we're getting there, if you know what I mean. Alex is back, so hello, Alex.
Hello.
I was just thinking about tyres. I mean, it seems like all the lap times are kind of at least 3 seconds off now. I wonder if the rain continues as it is, which it looks like it might, whether people will gamble onto those wets or even gamble on slicks if it looks like it might dry up during the race.
Definitely for the race, but in qualifying at this point, I don't think there's much benefit to any driver of going onto the wets, especially at this point if they want to get up the order, because all these laps have been set on slicks, and with the current amount of rain, is he dipping into the grass to cool those tires?
That or he's, swiping on Tinder at the same time.
That's an interesting activity to be doing while driving, but each to their own, I suppose.
I mean, that's the just on his phone, like oh no, he's doing another lap. I mean, he's 5 seconds off on this particular lap, so not ideal. Maybe he's just setting himself up for another lap. You don't want to be dipping your wheel onto the grass, really. It has been. I mean, I don't think Ahmed was doing it for any kind of tyre benefit there, but it has been outlawed in the rules, as far as I'm aware. It was found to be a little bit of an exploit, much like the iRacing one we saw a few years ago, where if you dip your wheels onto the grass, it sort of cools them down, gets them into a better operating window. Oh, look at that beautiful livery as Micah slides his way through the hairpin and heads into the final corner for Reading Game Studios. His teammate today is... who is his teammate today? That's a good question.
Kat Rudjob, the academy driver.
Yes, absolutely. I should have known that. Micah coming through, and he's still 7th position. In fact, he just did a 55.2, and his best lap is a 52.0. So clearly, weather conditions. See, they're very tight through turn 2. You can see the rubbered up line from kind of, that's where the initial rubber line is set by AI to give the track some grip at the start of the sessions, and they're all running well inside of that rubbered up line, so clearly it's beneficial to stay tight through T2. Is Kasper Koritz going for another run? This will be his final attempt as he starts as he comes through the final corner. That he won't have time for 2 laps, unfortunately. Well, I said that. No, he will. He will have time for 2 laps. He won't have time for 2 runs. So Koritz trying to get some warmth into those tyres as he starts his final couple of laps. Power sliding in that mock Jordan livery with some changes to sponsor names. It's nice to see some historic kind of livery. What would you call it? Kind of nods to historic F1 liveries on the FS2 grid, actually.
Is it a nod if it's just a copy with different logos on it? As if he holds that, that'd be very impressive. No.
Oh, well, maybe it was a little bit of lag.
Potentially. I wouldn't be surprised based on the fact that we do.
He's disconnected. Sorry.
Issues.
Yeah, he's disconnected, sadly, unfortunately. So hopefully he can make it back. Carry on. Sorry.
Oh, we do tend to have technical issues during these broadcasts in FS2. It seems to sort of hate us. Really. It has generated some quite funny moments, notably Toby in Jeddah watching, I forgot who it was, sliding off at turn 11. But we might see that once again today, hopefully not with the technical issues, and we might have an actual full-fledged reaction to someone sliding off at one of these very, very quick corners, especially with the changing conditions, and it might catch a few people out today.
Well, that's what I'm excited for, to be honest. I'm excited for a nice spicy race 1 with some changing conditions. I don't know if we're going to get it, but that should be fun. Hopefully everyone's capable of keeping their noses relatively clean. You can't promise anything in Formula Sprint 2. Where is Vakuinov going?
That's an interesting racing line, if you ask me.
He's going back to Japan. Is Patterson on board with the Priority 1 esports driver. Still got his Nakajima lid, so maybe it wasn't just a Japanese special, it probably is whole season helmet livery. Oh, wet tyres. Good point. Little Vincent Gutt sounding voice in my ear that none of you can hear. He just said wet tyres, and he's absolutely right. So I wonder what Patterson is. He's on his out lap, and he's not going to make it to the start-finish line. So this is not going to be possible to see what he can do on wet tyres, which is a shame.
Testing the orders, testing the waters, really.
Yeah. Best of all.
I got taken off my.
I don't know how intentional that was. That was pretty funny though.
No, I heard the meow through your microphone. I was just.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's my cat Petal. Please ignore her. No, apparently she wants attention. I think she's now on my head. I have to say, Petal is probably like she's so intrusive at the worst possible times. Honestly, I was doing a race once and she literally, from nowhere, pounced onto my steering wheel. I had no idea what was going on. No one's setting fast.
A racing line.
Sorry?
She was showing you a better racing line, obviously.
Well, these days probably would. To be fair, I've completely lost all ability to drive. I used to be decent back in the day, not so much anymore. That's just what happens when you get old.
I wouldn't know. But it seems like it's going to be another 1-2 for KV86 in qualifying today, at least. Last time out, we saw it in Japan from a very similar qualifying, actually.
Yes. I'm a little concerned. We haven't seen Koritz come back. Still not in the server. Lahtinen is P3, therefore. And if you were to go to our website, GPVWC.com, and go to the Formula Sprint 2 tab and look at the standings, you will see Jesse Lahtinen is leading the championship from Patrick Magnussen and Noah Tuomela. So those three that are currently top three in the session as well, top three in the championship. So it's beginning to spice up a little bit as we go through the season. And of course, we are only into round 4 of 16. There's plenty of time left for someone to make a charge further back. Someone like Seba Panasenko, for example, who was our race 2 winner in Japan. He is back once again today. That, I believe, is David Junt. Very recognisable helmet. If you've seen him racing here before, he's had the same helmet for forever. But yeah, that's session over, sadly, for us. Not that exciting because the conditions just steadily got worse. But Patrick Magnussen does take pole position for KV86 from his teammate, Noah Tuomela. Jesse Lahtinen, championship leader, P3, with James Knox, P4. Panasenko, just talking about him, in P5. He's definitely in with a shout today as well. Mateusz Majka, P6. Senna Stoffmill, once again, showing great pace. He had a 5th and a 2nd last time out as Japan, so keep an eye out for him. Oliver Taras for Apex in 8th. Craig Patterson 9th, and Mikhail Tuomala for Scuderia Cap Clay rounds out the top 10. 11th position was Bobby Vakuinov. Hopefully he's made it back from Japan by now. Maciej Sandak. I haven't practiced this one. Maciej Sandak. 12th for GPVWC Academy with Kurt Rotiav for Reading Game in 13th. Josh Dexter in 14th. Mano Manikandan for Smile Power, which is nice to see him for Smile Power in 15th, with Ribbley 16th position. Nick Kauper for Friesland in 17th. Mike Bell 18th. 19th is David Junt and Jonas Karala in 20th. Then we have Chavinsky, Ockenhaug, Florian Haase, Ben Skinner debuting today, Phil Hautzvig, Michael Teichmann, Joe Gillette, Dan Hutt, Vicentievich, Tauhid Ahmed from 21st to 30th, and following on from them is Jörn Dix. There will be a couple of penalties for people to serve. So we do have Vicentievich has got a 30 place penalty, so he will be starting from, I presume, turn 4. We have who else? So Joe Gillette has a 5 place grid penalty, and did you say Kuritz?
No, sorry, I was talking
he's
about.
back.
He's back.
Yeah, just Alex.
I don't know where he would have been, actually.
Alex just wasn't listening to me. I think it was about P3, wasn't he?
I believe so. And his computer turned off. That's why he
His
disconnected.
computer turned off.
Maybe the force feedback was too great. I don't know. Or just couldn't accept that was going to be such an amazing drift.
Turned off? That's strange. Like normally you'd have like a crash, or the game crashed, or a screen freeze,
Blue
or
screen,
like
maybe.
lag. Yeah, but like, just turned off. Sounds like something slightly more fundamental power supply issue or something like that. Hopefully he gets that sorted. Either that, or it's one of those mandatory Windows updates that just turns your computer off for no reason.
It really annoys me. It genuinely annoys me when it pops up. Would you like to update? No! I'm in the middle of rendering a video on YouTube and you're asking me if I want to update my computer. Absolutely not.
Great, isn't it? Absolutely ideal. I used to have, about 14 years ago, I used to have a nice one which happened every Wednesday. And I was doing a league race on a Wednesday. And the race started at 8. And it was at 8 p.m. every Wednesday that Apple iTunes decided it wanted to do an update. And every week I would be on the starting grid / in the formation lap / on lap 1. And it would alt-tab me out of the game, and I'd have to quickly alt-tab back in. And every week I'd go, I really need to turn that off. And for like one whole season I just completely forgot about it every single time. And it cost me a couple of... Well, it caused me some big problems, actually. There we are.
That's an interesting story, really.
Tales from when I was 19.
No, it really does annoy me when updates are intrusive like that. Especially iTunes. They really love to tab you out of whatever game you're in.
Literally, it's like, look at me, I'm the priority. No, let me play my game. No, I wouldn't, actually.
Why is the smile power, like, desaturated?
I think it's to do with which of the materials you use. So you can have like car paint or matte paint or matte vinyl, shiny vinyl. There's certain ones that do this in wet conditions. I don't remember which one it is. Yeah, but the black on the car makes it look worse, you know? So the cat play, the Apex that we're looking at here has like a different material set for the black, so it looks better in the wet conditions. It's only in wet that it does this, but yes, as you say, it's the same for the French in there.
Yeah, it's ugly, but we can cope with it. It's not
well. It sort of looks wetter, if you know what I mean. It's but yes, it is something that you have to be mindful of if you're making a livery. There's different materials for different sections of the car, and you can set them to do whatever you like, really. I mean, certain cars have got
back there.
Yeah,
it is. That's a great place to overtake.
Yeah, the slipstream is going to be so powerful today, and anyone who can get away with running slightly less wing is going to do really, really well down that back straight, especially. And you can see there from whichever French Nero that is, how much benefit he got from drafting the apex of Latin and there down the entire straight. Was able to get by. Probably Mike Bell, I'm not sure.
It's just about a mile, that straight is long, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Go on. Yeah. Sorry.
No. Go on.
I was just going to say it takes between 3 and 4 working days to get down that straight in a Formula Sprint 2 car. It's not too bad in an F1 car, but it takes forever in a slightly lower powered car that can only do sort of 160, 170.
I'm just glad it isn't touring cars then. We'll be waiting longer than it takes to ship from China to a different country via container ship.
I wonder if the WTCC ever did a round here. Because they
probably not.
They definitely did. Oh, okay. So they currently race at. Oh no, they have raced at the Ningbo International Circuit and at the Guangdong International Circuit, but it is currently held at Shanghai. Yeah, but it is currently held at the Shanghai International Circuit. So, very interesting. They do a shortened. Yeah, they do. Okay. They do the full straight.
Really?
But they cut out. You know where it goes. So in turn 2, there's like a double left.
Yep.
Right.
I was just seeing that, and I was thinking that.
Yeah, it cuts through there. So. Yeah, but they still do that massive straight. So you can imagine that's quite dull if you're doing 120, 130 down there. I can tell you, I mean, I've raced at Spa in a VW Cup car, and we were only doing 140 down there. And if you go, once you've got through Eau Rouge, it feels like ages until you get to Lake Hoon in a slower car. So we were doing sort of 2 minutes 40 around Spa. It took forever.
6 working weeks.
Yeah. A summer holiday.
Yes. I mean, Spa is a nice place to go in summer, usually, unless you get the awful rain. And speaking of rain, it can't decide and make its mind up whether it wants to go fully down or maybe I'll throw a few drops here and there.
I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if anyone's on wets actually. Let's have a little look. You can have a look for yourself at race-view.com. Apparently, Ockenhaug is currently on wets. Craig Patterson is for sure he's on those blue sidewalled wet tyres. You can tell them apart from the white sidewalled tyres because the white ones are
Different
slicks.
colours.
And the blue, yes, because they're different colours. But the white ones are blue. Sorry, the white ones are blue. Oh my god. You messed me right up. So the white ones are slicks and the blue ones are blue.
The blue ones are blue?
I'll let you figure it out for yourselves, lad. Honestly. The car just disappeared into the wall then. That was fun. I like chatting through warm-up, it makes me happy. Patterson anyway, P7 only 8/10 off Ockenhaug's best, and Ockenhaug's best was on slicks. So we are quite close to the crossover point here actually. It does appear to still be drizzling. But how much will that drizzle really affect, like, ultimately, lap time? That's the question, Alex.
Well, I mean, the cutoff, it seems to be 5 seconds or so. When the slicks go 5 seconds slower, that seems to be when wets start to come in properly, or at least 6 seconds slower if we go by Craig Patterson versus Ockenhaug. If it was Ockenhaug doing one on wets and one on slicks, then it'd be better comparison, but he doesn't seem... Oh, he is out on the wets, actually.
Who? Sorry. Who are we talking about here?
Ockenhaug.
Ockenhaug. Yes, he's now out on the wets. He's...
No, that 55.3 was with the wets.
Nope.
According to RaceView, at least.
Nope. Because for some reason on... for some reason on RaceView, slicks are blue and wets are green.
No. On mine, he's on green. Oh, now it's popped up as green. Okay.
Yeah. You have to click his name, and then in the top right it says stints. That shows you what tyres it was on for those.
RaceView is very, very special.
It's also not that intuitive, but nevertheless, check it out, everyone. Race-view.com. Go to the GPVWC sim racing server. You can have a look at the lap times that everyone is currently doing. It's sort of a live timing screen, and a very good one at that. Just requires a little bit of clicky.
Micah was going fastest there before he disappeared, got banished to the Shadow Realm.
Well,
where's Micah gone?
I don't know if he was going that fast as he was doing donuts when we switched him. We have a fun situation here whereby I don't know whether it's us or it's the entire server, but something has
crashed.
Server's crashed. Lovely, jubbly.
Lovely. Perfect. Just how
ideal.
It's not Discord. It is the game.
Oh no, we're back.
Oh. Maybe the server had to install an update.
I don't understand why it's always us.
Why us?
Why it was me, Mario Balotelli. Mathieu Sandak. Mathieu Sandak. Practice that one for today. Yes, it's still raining and the server is back, so that's good. News. We're having some lag. Why is it happening to us every single time?
I don't know. I don't understand this issue. When it's not Discord, it's R-Factor. And when it's R-Factor, it's probably also Discord at some point today.
I want to see what Ockenhaug can do actually on the wet tyre. He's currently on it. And I want to see how he compares to his 55.3 he did on slicks, because that is
5.
Okay, we're quite close to the crossover, if not at it. And it doesn't look like letting up this rain. I wonder if anyone's going to gamble on slicks and hope that it doesn't continue raining, or whether they go I don't know which tyre. We're right on that limit, I would say.
Yes.
I feel like in FS2, because it's, not really a pit stop race, you want to start on the tyre which the end of the race will be the weather conditions, if that makes sense.
I mean, the race that comes to mind is last year at Brazil, where we had rain later on in the race, and people chose to either stop or not. I do remember distinctly with David Wasserman, who currently owns 0-1 in FS2, and won in Brazil last year. There was rain, and we told him to box. It wasn't the right decision, but the race to it was. So I'll be interested to see if that sort of situation appears once again today, or whether people are just going to start on the wets, as it does seem to be growing in intensity of rain.
I think if
no
you're
spray yet.
I think if you're at the front, the safe thing to do would be start on wets. And I think if you're further back, I mean, the weather report I've been sent shows rain consistently for the next hour or so. But that doesn't mean to say that it won't just occasionally just let up a bit, and that might bring the tyres back towards the slicks, which might be enough to make them the faster tyre, especially if Ockenhaug's done his fastest lap just in that session on the slick tyres. It's close. It's definitely not an obvious choice, is it?
No, it seems to be a battle, like, mentally, not just for the drivers, but also, they might have been running a dry setup for qualifying, or they might have been running a wet setup for qualifying, and now they're going into a race with changing conditions, because this gamble has gone a lot further back than just tires now at this point, of whether they picked a rain setup or
That's a really interesting point you've just made, actually. So, obviously the long back straight means most people will want to be on low wings if they can. Pretty much everyone is... it's not that exciting, actually. I looked at the qualifying results just now. James Knox is probably on higher downforce than those around him. He's done 257 in a straight line compared to the fastest, which is 262, which is quite substantial in these cars, I would say. So keep an eye out for Knox, and Yunt is on 255, so he's on very high downforce, comparatively anyway. At least a couple of clicks of rear wing extra. So keep an eye out on those two, whether or not they've hit the jackpot with weather conditions, actually. May not make that much difference considering the length of the back straight, but certainly to keep an eye on them.
I mean, in rain, it's going to be getting through that tricky sort of... Oh, please, no. Please,
could just be session. It could be just session moving.
Hopefully, but he would be back in the garage. There we go.
No, yeah.
But he's invisible. Oh, dear.
We are having some issues today.
Oh, there we go. But it's got a bit wetter on the track. But as I was saying, that sort of tricky corner before that super long straight, it's a long right-hander. And we've gone to warm-up again.
Yeah, something's not right, is it? I'm not in the server myself, so I can't see what the message is going on there. Like, Chris Williamson will be currently directing the troops inside the server, but I'm not sure what the situation is, actually, to be honest.
The situation is that the server is not doing the purpose of a server, it seems.
What if he just did a restart of warm-up just to make sure everything was okay? There's some drivers out there on slicks, though.
Those tyres on that pit performance car are very, very wide. I mean, we strapped LEDs to it. I know it's a trend, but... Oh, no!
Hello!
Hello.
R Factor 2 does have a little bit of an issue with very light or white colours in dark conditions. It almost looks like they're glowing. We do have this at night races as well. And in fact, one of the things that Chris Williamson does is reduces the amount, or rather darkens the white on the liveries. Bit of a technical fact for you there, just to make sure they don't look like they're beacons of lights driving around the track. It does work to an extent, but of course certain things like rims and helmets particularly as well. Any of the extra items on the car, effectively. If you can see the helmet here, it just looks a little brighter than the rest of the car. It's just one of those limitations of R52, unfortunately.
No, I do
Don't
feel
look at it.
stupid for
Don't,
using a non-white. It just gets converted anyway.
don't look too closely at the helmets. No, I've said it. But they do kind of glow a little bit.
No. Just putting LEDs on the helmets and someone's doing donuts in the back straight.
Of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, and someone else's grass
That's
truck.
an Academy car, having fun. And we've got a battle between the two KB86s and the murder of Jörn Dix.
Oh!
Almost again, it seems.
I'm wondering if we're close to moving to race at this point. I hope so. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to go cut to a break or anything like that, just in cases that we go to.
Ooh, raining quite heavily there.
It is. I feel like we're going to be saying that quite a bit today.
Yeah, it's going to rain and then it's going to stop. I look
Thanks.
outside and I see almost the same, really, and that's
Is it raining
not
where you are?
great. No, it was about 10 minutes ago. It's no longer anymore.
Really? Where are you? Roughly. Don't want your address.
North.
No, well, that's too rough.
Okay, Manchester.
Oh dear. Yeah, no, I'm in South Wales, and it's been lovely today, which is the opposite of what you might think.
No, South Wales is the sunny side of the UK, typically. In my mind, at least.
Absolutely lies. It rains here more than anywhere else, I swear.
No. We'll have an argument about this. We'll have an argument about this.
Part of the UK. The achievement goes to the small village of Capel Curig, which lies right in the heart of Snowdonia in Wales. Annual rainfall of 2,612 millimeters.
That's North Wales.
It is.
So, I'm actually closer to Wales, actually. Yeah.
The wettest cities in the UK. This is a nice little article. I'll put this in the YouTube chat for everyone to have a little look at.
Oh dear. We're going to race, and this is the argument we're having of where is rainier.
Have a little look at that. I've just sent it in the YouTube chat. The biggest blobs of water on that particular graph are in South Wales. Oh, does it not work?
It doesn't do it anymore. No.
I'm so
Formation
sorry.
lap time.
Oh, we are actually into a competition. Okay, good. If you just Google the wettest place in the UK revealed, it'll be the first link. Anyway, so let's have a little look at our KV86 cars going around on the formation lap, and we have got Patrick Magnussen leading the way. Here is the grid. So Patrick Magnussen, followed by his teammate Noah Tuomela on row 1. Row 2 is Kasper Kuritz, who did make it back into the session and was third, followed by championship leader Jasalainen. Row 3 is James Knox and Seva Panasenko, with row 4 Seb Stoffmeal and Oliver Taras. The fifth row on the grid is Craig Patterson and Mikhail Tuomala, with Bobby Bakuinov and Sandak behind. Following them is Kurt Rotjav in 13th, with Josh Dexter in 14th, Manu Manakandan in 15th place, and Massimiliano Riboli in 16th for Optimal. 17th place is Nick Cowper for Friesland, with Mike Bell following for Smile Power in 18th. 19th is David Yunt. 20th position is Yunus Karala. 21st on the grid goes to Philip Chavinsky, with Magnus Okenhaug in 22nd for the other Optimal, Florian Haase for Excellion in 23rd, and Ben Skinner for 01 Esports in 24th. 25th place goes to Owen Phil Haltzvig, with Michael Teichmann in 26th place, Dan Hutt for Hutt Performance Engineering in 27th, and Joe Gillette in 28th. Serving his 5-place grid penalty, Vicentievich is 29th somehow, with Micah 30th, Jörn Dix and Taqid Ahmed 32nd. I thought Vicentievich had a 30-place grid penalty. I wonder if. Okay, so I wonder if Dix had more. Okay.
Clearly. Dix had a time in qualifying.
Yeah, but Dix had more. Did Dix? Vince Gutt
he had the 60 place.
he's still serving it.
Yes, because he had the race man, and now he's got the 60 place.
Of
he's running from
course.
Taiwan this race. Anyway, we've got Matrika Pagnuson at the front.
Matrika Pagnuson. Right, we need to control ourselves. The race is about to begin. Tawa and Ahmed lining up on the final row. And a car is quite a long way left in their grid box. And we're missing... Oh, he's gone. Kuritz is gone. So obviously his computer's gone again, unfortunately. But we're waiting for the 5 red lights, which hopefully we can see somewhere on the screen. As this particular angle doesn't show us the main ones. But they will come on, and they go out. We're racing. So Magnussen gets away well. He, in fact, has a very good start. The 2 KV86s are streaking away at the front of the pack, and through into turn 1 they go. And Magnussen leads from Tourmella. Behind them, we've got further back. We're looking a long way further back here. We're looking back into the pack. Hopefully everyone makes it through turn 1 and 2 safely. And I'm just looking out for... There's a bit of 3 wide action further back as well. But sweeping through we go, and it looks like the KV86s made an excellent getaway at the front of the pack as they head towards the second sector and the more sort of sweeping section. It looks like everybody has chosen wet tyres. This is probably a sensible decision considering the conditions right now, Alex.
Yeah, and Ahmed off the line with probably a jump start penalty from what I can tell, and that's going to be a drive for it, if I remember correctly. For jump starts. So that's going to put him right down the order, all the way from the back already after those grid penalties. He's just served that grid penalty and now got a penalty on the first lap. But the KV86 is slowly pulling away. It's a great start for Magnussen, the second head of his teammates. We're heading towards the long final straight, but Larson is going to be putting Tuamela under pressure with the slipstream, and this is the battle between Rivoli and Mike Bell. Bell currently ahead in the start power. It's a good start up from, I believe, 18th for Mike Bell. And we've got Kurt Rutschov on his second debut, but this time with Breeding Game. He's going for the inside down to the hairpin. This is going to be free wide, and there's definitely space for it. It's got to move up ahead. Josh Dexter moving for P10 on Bobby Bakanov, and that's a spin for Kurt Rutschov. Like I said, locking up those rear tires into the hairpin, but he's got past Mike Bell. So is Ribbley, but this battle is continuing to the final corner. It's a penalty for the other Hunter Birch Racing Simulation car. Joe Gillett, I actually don't know what he could have got a penalty for here.
Extension, maybe? It's a strange penalty to get because it's the track limits here are, not that tight in the middle sector, so something happened to him. Hopefully not too dramatic. We do have a few people on slick tyres. Matusz Majka in 18th position, Kauper in 22nd, Teichmann in 28th, and Percentier, which has gambled on slicks as well, starting from pretty much the back of the pack, and he's currently running last. Magnussen setting a purple first sector a few tenths faster than everyone else. He is extending his lead as quickly as he can as Micah dives down the inside and tries to make the move on Carrara. Oh, as Carrara loses it under traction, sideswipes him. Micah's able to continue and actually will hold on to that position. Oh no, he's just lost out actually as he rejoins the track to David Yunt, but that was very tight.
Yeah, that was reminiscent sort of that Landon Norris incident we had at the very same corner of someone just losing traction on the inside, almost hitting the person on the outside, and Matusz Majka just an innocent bystander in that entire situation, getting pushed wide and losing a position, but Kuiper wide as well. Seems like people are struggling with these interesting conditions. Who's that going wide further back? That might have been Joe Gillett, or that might have been Tahir Ahmed. Actually, but this is the battle. James Knox, actually, P4, great start for him, and it seems like Kuritz has actually managed to start from the pit lane as well.
Yes, Matusz Pishkan just messaged me, thank you very much. As down the inside goes Lattner, our championship leader on Knox, and he's going to make that one stick. Should be able to continue the overlap into the final corner and sweep through and take that second position from Tuamela. So Lattner making progress early on, and will be looking to get back towards the leader Magnussen, although he's got to defend here coming into turn 1 from Tuamela, who is, he's running in very tight to the inside, not giving him any room to turn in, but Lattner holds on to the position and keeps it in tight to the apex, and he has moved his way up to P2.
Yeah, Nox is going to capitalize on this now. Tuamela trying to battle with Latin. It's actually cost him a little bit, and Nox is now going to have this slipstream, and Tuamela is falling off the back of Latinen, but Patrick and Magnussen at the front, very dominant first couple of laps. He's 1.7 ahead of Latinen, and Tuamela is still right on the back of Latinen, and Nox goes wide. That allows Panasenko through, and Stoffmeal, who we haven't really seen anywhere towards the front, sort of steps it up here in Shanghai, and he's up in P6 and now on the back of James Knox, and at this rate, this could be challenging for a podium.
Yeah, he's definitely got decent pace, but this is a long race now that it's wet conditions. Those on slicks, the track doesn't look that bad. There is kind of like a drying line, or at least, a less wet line, if you like, although it is still drizzling. I don't know how hard the rain is, but Kalpa, I think, is our highest runner on slick. No, Micah's our highest runner on slick tyres, and he set a purple first sector. So Micah on the slicks, keep an eye out for him, actually, especially if these wet tyres degrade on the not that wet surface. Micah's got decent pace on those slicks. He's gambled, and he's 16th place right now.
And this is Stoffmeal looking to the inside for the hairpin. It's going to be a relatively easy move unless Nox is able to hang on around the outside. Further ahead, Panasenko is challenging Tuamela, but no move able to be made, and Nox close to the back of Stoffmeal. We've got plenty of moves being made through that hairpin. Josh Dexter fighting with Raboli further back, and this is Savinsky, and I don't actually know which Frujlan that is.
That's
Kuiper,
Kalpa.
sorry.
Yeah.
And Kuritz, actually, great start, up to 22nd from the pit lane.
Yes, so we missed that. He started from the pit lane. I thought he, because obviously he was P3 on the grid, not sure why he was starting from the pit lane. Seems like a strange decision if you qualify P3. We're watching Sandak here, and behind them, we've got Dexter and Bell, and Dexter... Oh, and Bell's been spun! I think it was Micah. I think it was Micah on the inside of him trying to make the move, and Bell's dropping all the way back. He will not be a happy Mike.
And it's sort of... You think of what happened last time in Suzuka. It's just unfortunate it was so early on in the race that now it's happened again, that he's just got hit on the inside, goes wide, and it's an unfortunate incident, but Micah just finds himself in a place where he's got no room, and yeah, it's an unfortunate incident with all involved. This is free wide. I think this was lap 1 of Kurt Rochard. Yes, it was, and this is the move he tried to make on Bell at first, and just spun, lost the rears. Like I said, he would. Riboli making the most of that, and yeah, it's an interesting battle from the start. And is this what happened to Joe Gillett to get that penalty?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he managed to do that, because he's had to cut the corner to avoid the spinning car. It's really harsh if he's got to drive through from that. Really, really harsh. Not much he can do there, to be honest with you. That's a shame for Gillette, who was, frankly, unlucky not to finish race 2 at Suzuka, if you've not seen that one. So yes, Gillette, unfortunately, will have a drive-through penalty to serve. If he has not served it already, he needs to in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, but in the meantime, Magnussen, that gap has got even bigger to Jase Lahtinen.
Okay, I have to point something out. So the fastest lap has just been set by Micah. He is 7 tenths faster than the leader. He did a middle sector 8 tenths quicker than Magnussen, and of course that first sector was only slower because of the contact with Bell. He is flying, absolutely flying, and he's only 10 seconds off the lead. If he continues as he is, he should, and of course the rain holds off a little bit. It doesn't look like it's raining that hard. These slick tyres could propel him towards the front. Keep a very close eye on Mateusz Micah for reading game. He definitely is in prime position to make some moves, and of course he started further back. I think I'd like to see how many positions he's made up. It was probably about 10 by now.
From the back of the grid, yeah.
Oh my goodness, 18. Of course he was right at the back. 18 positions he's made up. So yeah, Micah has got stupendous pace. He's just set a 30.1 in the first sector compared to the leaders 30.6, 30.7, 30.8. So yes, Micah's flying on those slicks. That gamble is paying off for him. Looks like those are the tyres to be on.
Yeah, but those leaders, or at least the people on the wet tires, are just going to be hoping, okay, maybe it starts raining more. We shouldn't pit just yet. There's still laps left in this race. And if they pit onto the slick tires, and it's starting to rain a bit more, but it seems to be on that weird cusp, like we've said, of the slicks and dries. And a Stoffmeal trying around the outside of the hairpin. Not much room to make an overtake there, but he's going to have the outside line. And he's going to have the outside lane into the final corner as an iTunes update appears on my screen.
Amazing. That's absolute karma. Right, so Stoffmeal has good pace, by the way, and has been slowly making his way through. He is right up with Tuomela, who of course was P2 on the grid. Micah 55.8 compared to the leaders 57.1. Based on pace alone, he will catch. Based on the fact that there's traffic, I'm not sure he will. But he could certainly make it into the top 5 from there at the very least. Depends if the rain kind of stays as it is, or rather holds off. As you say, it's right on the cusp, but there is no spray. So the track is just damp at the moment. It's just a bit slick. So it's, as we say, it's right on that crossover point. And of course, the more cars that go over the racing line, the cleaner and the drier it will be. Especially if you're following those cars who can sort of expel the water in front of you. Whether that means that later on in the race he's got fewer cars in front of him expelling the water, and that means his pace slows down a bit. I don't know. It's something to keep an eye out on. But Stoffmeal here really needs to get by Tuomela. He's definitely got better pace, I would say.
Yeah, but you can see how much these wet tyre runners are struggling now as the track's drying out. They're sort of losing the rear a little bit, and they're sort of tiptoeing around the track as Josh Dexter's falling back. Something's happened to him, that's for sure. Whether he's spun on his own or he just got hit, we might not know unless there's a replay for that. But this is the battle still between Stoffmeal and Tuomela. Let's see how powerful the slipstream really is. It was 4.6 at the start of the straight, heading towards the hairpin. Not close enough to try for an overtake, but he looks to fill those mirrors. Nothing happening there. Nox on the inside of Panasenko goes deep. Panasenko gets the switchback, and that's easily held on, but Nox still there on the inside into the final corner, but slots in behind Mr. Panasenko one more time.
Mike is up to P8, so he's made quite a few positions on this lap alone. You can see him in the background there diving down the inside of Tuomela, who is no slouch at all, as Stoffmeal goes down the inside. I don't know if he was left enough room by Tuomela. They make a little bit of contact. There's no harm done yet, but Stoffmeal just doesn't seem to have quite the straight line speed. As side by side goes Nox and Panasenko through the double left-hander here. You can see that drier line on the inside of the track. That's where they want to be, as Taras is trying to hold off Nox. But, and Nox sends it down the inside of Panasenko. No, Panasenko holds on as they go into the hairpin and into the fast left, right, left section in the middle sector. Micah, behind this battle, he's already up and alongside Taras. He just simply has more grip in these conditions. Look at the amount of grip he has compared to the wet runners. It's monumental, this difference right now, as Taras fights back, but there's no way he should be fighting that. Just let him go and fight your own race. Micah at the moment just has those right tyres on, and he's got them on at the right time as well.
Yeah, Micah spun the roulette wheel, and it seems to be working quite well for him. And news is that Joe Gillett got his penalty removed, that drive-through removed for that
good
and off track, which is very much deserved. But this is Stoffmeal. He's much closer than he was one lap ago, and that slipstream is going to be even stronger this time around. So this should be the move for P3. Noah Tuomela right on that inside line, not allowing any space for Stoffmeal to go down the inside, as you see a bit of spray being kicked up. And once again, no place to go on the outside of the hairpin. But he tries for the switchback, and there's just no room there. Contact between Tuomela and Stoffmeal.
Yeah, and Micah is trying to make it through. That's going to be dangerous. He's on the inside, cut through the corner, but unable to make the move this time around on James Nox. And in fact, he's been compromised on the exit, but there's slightly better traction on those slick tyres, meaning that he's made it through. And he's going to be on the outside now, sweeping through. Look at the amount of grip he has as he goes, well, he's trying to go around the outside, but of course falls off that drier line. And it doesn't help that Taras is all over his gearbox and giving him little tiny little love taps through turn 1 there, but Micah, his progress has been halted on this lap somewhat. Revising my thought process that he might make it all the way to the front, but that was never going to happen. He was way too far back. But it seems like maybe the tyres are levelling out, or maybe in fact the slicks are just wearing that bit more with all this sliding going on from Micah. I'm not confident that he'll hold on to whatever position he finishes in anyway, considering the contact earlier on with Mike Bell, which obviously sent Bell tumbling down the order, and Bell currently running in the 20s somewhere, I believe. He is 24th currently, so... as Micah's got a bit of a run, but this, he's better off to try and slipstream down the long back straight and then turn that into a move at the hairpin. Go on, what were you going to say, Alex?
Realistically speaking, those slicks are going to be pretty cold with the rain weather. Of course, the track, 41 degrees. That's lower than we've seen for the rest of the races. And these slicks, especially on the wet line, will be cooling down very quickly. And Tuamela sticking to his standard defense of staying on the inside. It's very, very close, millimeters between Stoffmeal and Tuamela's contact. As Stoffmeal just turns in, hits the outside tyres, but Stoffmeal is actually side by side into the final corner, and there's constant bumping of those sidewalls, and Tuamela has gone very wide there. Oh, just misjudging his braking. Micah makes it past Knox for P6 as well, that we just missed. And I imagine Knox won't be fighting that too much longer, but this is mighty pace by Micah.
Yes, but I think he's going to run out of laps, unfortunately for him. He's kind of got stuck in this pack now, and probably the best position he can finish is third, which will still be ridiculous from the back of the grid as he gets easily through on Panasenko, who was doing his best impression of a drift car through turn 2, but Micah found that particular overtake nice and easy, and of course he's up alongside, he's coming up to the row 1 starter, Noah Tuamela.
Yeah, and we sort of got bump cars today. It's love taps from behind, love taps from the side. Fortunately, none from the front. That would be quite worrying, to be honest, if that was the case. But Micah on the back of Noah Tuamela. He was P2 in qualifying, and you might say that he's running out of laps, but he's only 8 seconds behind, and Noah Tuamela showing him the door. But Micah with that grip, it's just mighty, and he's able to constantly fight his way through. And even if it wasn't the best choice, or even if he isn't going to get to the front, it's still a great start, literally, from the back of the grid. And Tuamela, no point really fighting it on the inside. He's going to have that slipstream from Stoffmeal ahead, and
Tuamela does not leave room. No, Tuamela does not leave any room at all. And in fact, Micah did well to outbrake himself there, to be honest, because Tuamela was going to come steaming into the side if he turned in at the normal point. But through goes Micah then, up to P4, and with 5 laps left in the race, look at the amount of gap he's already made. Micah goes through and does a 1:57.4. That's a second faster than the leader. Unfortunately, he's 8 seconds back, but he has got a tiny bit of clear air as Panasenko sends it down the inside, but not enough of an overlap. Tuamela sweeps in front of him and holds on to P5.
It's certainly a better race than we saw last time around, and these gaps, they are just non-existent between cars. You know, anywhere you look within the field, you've got a battle going on. We've had a few yellows and a few retirements. I don't know who's retired so far. Mike Teichmann and Ian Dix are out of the race, and Dan Hutt is further behind anybody, 51 seconds between him and the next best competitor. But this battle for the front, you know, barely seconds between the top 13 runners. I retract my statement, the top 15 runners. There's barely any gaps between them. It's quite a long train.
Yes.
Fronted by Noah Tuamela.
Yes, it's shows what the slipstream does, really. It kind of packs cars up, much like a flat-out Indy sort of race would be. Look at the amount of time that Mike has made up on this lap on Stoffmeal. He's already gapped Tuamela 3 seconds, and he's going to find this one particularly easy, I would say. as Stoffmeal minding his own business really in P3, but now Micah steams his way by and is cooling his tyres down. Obviously is a factor to keep your tyres as cool as possible. He sweeps through into P3. P2 is definitely in his targets, and he is flying on this lap, actually. Micah is a good... he is 6/10. He's 1.2 seconds faster already than Magnus in the lead. It's not all over for the lead, actually, I would say.
Yeah, and that would be a poetic story. Like a back of grid penalty, 55.6 fastest lap that time around for Matusz Micah from back of the grid. Now in the podium places, there might still be a penalty pending for Micah after the incident with Mike Bell further back, which is absolutely getting reported. There's no ifs about that. Mike Bell not having the best of races in Suzuka and in Shanghai. It seems a bit cursed, and this might be a replay of what happened to Josh Dexter.
Yeah, what happened to Josh Dexter? That is a good question. Oh, he's got a... yeah, so that curve is extremely big. And if you straddle it, it does do that to your car. It kind of bottoms out and the rear tyres lose grip. And around he goes. It's taken quite a while to find first gear again. But on he goes. Teichmann here for ST Racing. Unfortunately, on slick tyres right at the back, he's not finding that up.
I'm interested to see what happened there. So that's an interesting retirement. This is hot. Whatever happened to him for him to fall so far back.
Too much apex speed, a nice little drift. And he had it. He had it held.
And then what happened to Jörn Dix?
Yes, he's out, unfortunately, as is Dan Hood, by the way. Another straddly curb problem. Yeah. There's going to be a wheel. Okay.
Wow.
Good job. Good job that this isn't... oh, look at Micah all the way up to Lattinen already. This is taking candy from... Okay. Why do I speak
the same as Dix?
Yeah, no. Yes.
You do speak too much.
I hadn't finished my sentence. He still managed to be 8/10 faster than the leader, by the way, despite that. I wonder if it's got a little bit wetter over the last couple of laps. Micah looked like he was about to disappear off into the boonies there through turn 1. Here's James Knox and Craig. We've not mentioned Craig Patterson too much. He's been driving fairly solidly in the top 10 most of the race. And he's managed to get behind James Knox, who early on looked like he might be quite a decent shout for top 3, actually, but unfortunately he's dropped back a little bit through for one reason or another.
Hold on, what happened to Knox and Panasenko? Because they were not 8th a minute ago.
No, sorry, yeah, you're right. They've both dropped down quite quickly, haven't they? I've sort of thought that Knox had done it not that quickly, but maybe that happened whilst we were watching a couple of replays. Micah's still well over the back of Lattinen, by the way, for P2. I do think that will be all she wrote, unless he can go 2 seconds a lap faster minimum on the last 2 laps. In fact, his middle sector is not that impressive actually on this particular lap. Micah a couple of tenths slower than the leader. Yeah, rain has defo increased. And in fact, Micah,
the dry line isn't there anymore.
Yeah, Micah, look, he's not got the pace that he had, and Stoffmeal's going to have another go back at him. So Micah now probably just needs to cling on if the rain's increased. That's a shame. I thought that was, well, at least for the neutral. Look at them all trying to break the toe in the background as Micah goes deep on the brakes, still gets it stopped just, but he's going to lose out here to Stoffmeal. And the conditions have gone back the other way. For the first time, probably, this race, I would say.
Yeah, and that was good driving from Stoffmeal to be cautious with Micah going wide. You know, you've seen it happen before, of drivers going wide and then just cutting in as Patterson trying around the outside at the final corner and being shown the big red curbs, which just proved that it's not particularly the greatest overtaking opportunity.
Oh, we've got
trying to turn 1 as well.
We've got spray, well. yeah. So this is, and you've got little puddles forming. So actually, Micah could easily drop back like a stone here on those slick tyres. It worked to get him from the last position on the grid pretty much to well, he was almost up to P2 at one point. Now he's going to be careful on the last couple of laps that he doesn't lose out to this big train behind Oliver Taras.
Well, yeah, the job now for Micah is just to keep it on the wet black stuff with those slick tyres, which I imagine shouldn't be that much of an issue, but this is a battle I didn't see coming. Lartinen and Stoffmeal, or I should say Jartinen, from your introduction.
Lasse Jartinen.
Yeah, but Stoffmeal on the back of Lartinen with 2 laps to go. This could be an overtake for P2 for Senna Stoffmeal. I don't even know where he qualified. I'll check.
About 7th or 8th?
8th. He's,
Yeah.
up from 8th. Not that impressive, but Micah from last on the grid, 26th. But Lartinen got a hold off from Senna Stoffmeal. 0-1 versus Apex. 0-1 hasn't really been at the front this season so far, but this will be a great breakthrough for Senna Stoffmeal, even with a P3. But this battle between Yasso Lartinen, it's not going to last very long. It seems Lartinen just letting Stoffmeal pass, which seems pretty smart, given that there's 1 lap to go after this one. But it's not going to be very smart if he's holding it like that. That was a very well hold with the traction. And Tuomala goes deep, and Tuomala gets past him on the inside, tracing that 3 times fast.
I know. I'm glad they're not teammates. It'd be very difficult to tell which one we're talking about, but as you say, Tuomala has had a sort of up and down race so far and is fighting his fellow countryman Tuomala as they go into turn 1 for the final time, by the way. And Magnussen, we've not mentioned him very much, but has driven away from the pack and held a very comfortable lead the majority of this race. He's done very, very well. Not mentioned him enough, but Stoffmeal P2, Lartinen in P3 is great results for them. And Micah has been caught by Taras, but behind Taras, because of Tuomala and Tuomala's battling, he probably wouldn't lose many more positions than this. You'd hope, for his sake anyway. But those slick tyres, they are definitely not the tyre to be on right now, unfortunately, for Mateusz Micah.
Yeah, and Stoffmeal's actually pulling away from Yasso Lartinen at 1.1 seconds. And Micah getting onto the wet stuff, and there's no space there. No!
He's gonna drop. He can't get back in the pack from there. Oh, he's all the way down in 15th. Mateusz, it was the last lap. You just had to just let him go. Dear me.
No.
Dear me.
Hopefully he gets a reverse grid pole. That would be the only saving grace for a 15th place reverse grid pole. But this is Tuomala fighting Tuomala once again. And I hope I don't have to say that much in the future. But the slipstream can be very important here. Tuomala holding that inside as he has. And look at that train. That is something quite impressive to see. But this is the battle on the last lap. Tuomala and Tuomala. Patrick Magnussen further ahead is going to cross the line very soon. Tuomala around the outside. Not much space there. Magnussen crosses the line to win. Stoffmeal not far behind. Crosses for P2. Lartinen P3 with Taras. Now the battle further back is Tuomala and Tuomala. I don't even know which one I'm saying. To the line! Oh,
no, it was close. It was close, but Tuomala held on just as Tuomala blows his engine across the line. Micah, unfortunately for him, is not going to be happy with that. Having had a potential P2 in his sights, he finishes the race P15 and last of our point scorers. What a race. That was much more like it, by the way, from everyone racing in this one. It's been quite tricky watching sometimes Formula Sprint 2 from a driving standards point of view. That was a lot of fun. This is what happened to Micah. Oh my goodness, yeah, there's nowhere stuff. Yeah. Why? I think in fairness he has no grip left, but just more carefulness. It's not the right word for that. Care, more care needed. Carefulness? What am I talking about? Delicacy? I don't think so. That's something you eat, like a snail.
Delicato sound.
Just have some escargot, please. That's actually what I needed to drive a bit like a snail. on the last lap. I'm so sorry, my head fell off then. Right, Magnussen won, and that is going to close up the championship fight somewhat,
No,
considering that he was 12 points back of Lattinen, and Lattinen ended up. Ooh, was he P3? He was. Stoffmeal managed to get him. So, yeah. So it's obviously 25. Sorry.
It's equal now. Oh no, 3 points behind for Magnussen. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's 9. So yes, 3 points behind for Magnussen. So closing that up nicely. It is very wet out there, by the way, now. So there we go. So Patrick Magnussen for KV86 wins the race, followed by a great drive from Senna Stoffmeal in P2. Lattinen, our current championship leader, in P3, with Taras, his teammate for Apex, in 4th. Noah Tuomela in 5th place in the end after all of that. And Tuomala and Panasenko 6th and 7th for Cap Clay. Craig Patterson, a nice quiet race to P8. He'll be very happy with that, with James Knox and Ockenhaug rounding out the top 10. Behind them is Massimiliano Ribli, Vakuinov, Sandak, Rotyav, and Micah, the point scorers, and those are the potential reverse grid positions as well. Kasper Kuritz from the back of the grid did a great job to get to 16th place with Joe Gillette. Thankfully getting his penalty removed. That is absolutely a great example of a penalty being removed. He couldn't do anything. There was a car spinning and he had to cut the corner to avoid him, so well done for that one. David Yunt in 18th with Mano Manikandan 19th and Ben Skinner in 20th. 21st place goes to Filip Travinsky with Florian Haase, Mike Bell, Kauper, Kavel Haltvig, Vicentievich, Korala, Ahmed and Dexter, our final runners. Behind them, and unfortunately DNFing from the race, was Dan Hutt for Hutt Performance Engineering, and Jörn Dix and Michael Teichmann with the weirdest retirement I've seen this season so far.
Wheel disconnect, it was.
Aha! Thank you.
I remember seeing that in chat. I don't know who said it. I think it was...
Oh, well, that's not information. That's just hearsay. I do like the YouTube chat.
When it's from Carter McCollman, it's
okay, no,
more trustworthy.
No, yeah, no, fair enough. No, yep, I rescind previous statement. Thank you very, very much, everyone, for watching Race 1. We do have Race 2 coming up momentarily, where there will be a reverse grid. Anyone kind of wanting to stick around, please do, because the reverse grid always provides a bit of entertainment, and the rain appears to have stopped currently as well. So, could be quite interesting. Race 2, as again, could be a bit of a gamble. It's whether you start on wets or slicks. We do have a warm-up session for people to try both tyres. It does look a little sodden out there. Yeah, I think I would be wet tyres probably at this stage, but who knows? But certainly not me. I haven't got a clue.
I'm not driving, so it's a good thing, really.
I know. Right, well, lovely. Let's have a little break whilst the session moves across, and we will be returning in probably 4 minutes and 25 seconds. everyone. It's warm-up. The rain has stopped, but it is wet.
Pretty cold, actually.
Well, yes, it's quite chilly out there.
16
On
degrees?
16 degrees. Well, I mean, in the UK, that's basically shorts and
Average.
t-shirt weather. I mean, it is for me anyway. As soon as I get a glimpse of the teens, I'm straight into shorts. That sounds weird.
That sounds very weird.
That's not what I meant. What I meant was, when the weather is in the teens, 13 to 19. Magnus Hockenhaug's on pole for race 2, by the way. And he should buy a lottery ticket, because that's about the 18th time that's happened this season. And there's only been 3 rounds before now. I think it's 3 out of 4. We've had Magnus Hockenhaug on pole, so I don't exactly know what's going on there. But he's very lucky, and should be in prime position from there.
Oh dear.
He's had a P2 in Australia, a P13 in race 2 at Jeddah, and a P20 at Japan, so it hasn't always worked out for him. Calm down, Alex.
I think we need to go back for another break.
No, I'll be fine. But it isn't raining. I don't know if you can see that on the broadcast necessarily. It's that's it. If you go through turn 1, there is some drizzle. But apparently, according to the weather forecast I've just been sent, there is no rain expected for the next 90 minutes, which is plenty enough time to get race 2 in drying conditions. So there's one gamble on who is going to take that one, because it looks, I mean, there's only 20 seconds left of this session. It's still raining. I think if you're on slicks in these conditions, you are not going to do very well. But if what I've been sent screenshot-wise is accurate, we are not expecting any more rain at all. So whatever this drizzly thing that's going on right now is,
That's rain, Toby.
I don't think it's going to stay. So hopefully we get a nice changeable conditions, and someone will gamble on slicks, much like Mateusz Majka did. Honestly thought he was going to win that race at one point, but sadly not to be.
Oh. Was that? I hope that was intentional and not looking up the rears. Hockenhaug's going quickly as well.
Yeah, well, yes.
What tire is he on?
Wet.
What?
Yeah, there's no
It's
slick.
far too wet. I don't
No,
think anyone's going for slicks.
They shouldn't.
It's going to be a pit stop race, this one, if it dries out. That's for sure.
Do you think that way?
Unless it dries out magically before the start of the race, absolutely, it's a wet start.
Oh, it's a wet start. I don't think anyone will pit. I mean, it's such a long time at the pit lane. It's probably like 30 seconds or something in an FS2 car to change tyres.
But at this point, you might lose more on the slick
Well,
tyres.
let's think about it. So you'd have to be 6 seconds. So let's say you do it for 8 laps, right? Track dries in the first 6. You're doing it for 8 laps. You've got to be like 5 seconds lap faster to make it work. Well, I suppose that's doable, but it would have to really dry out, like dry. Anyway, the race is about to begin, and we do have a quite a big reverse grid again.
It's the
so-
smallest possible, mind.
Oh, is it? I thought Hockenhaug was like 12.
No,
Oh, my.
it's
oh,
P10. That's what we were on about buying a lottery ticket for. It's been P10 for 3 of the 4 rounds that we've had the race 2 reverse grid. It's been P10. So
Well,
if you're the
I mean,
best chance of
comparatively
being
to
on pole in
FS2,
race
yes,
2.
it's still the top 10 in reverse. That's still quite a big reverse grid
Yeah.
in any normal series. That's a third of the grid.
But
You're right. though,
here's a pro
I mean,
tip. If you want to be on reverse grid pole in race 2 and FS2,
Finish 10th.
finish 10th.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. So Optimal getting another pole position through Hockenhaug. It is dry, look. In terms of weather, not in terms of the track. The track has still got puddles. There is no rain actually in the race session. Very exciting. Right, so the grid then, as they start their formation lap, and yes, this is definitely wet conditions right now. We've got Magnus Hockenhaug for Optimal starting alongside James Knox on row 1, Craig Patterson and Seba Panasenko row 2. Row 3 goes the way of Mikhail Tuamala with Noah Tuamela in P6, Oliver Taras and Yasalarman, row 4. Row 5, Senna Stoffmeal and Patrick Magnussen are race 1 winner. And then Massimiliano Riboli and Bobby Vakuanov on row 6. Row 7, Maciej Sandak and Kurt Rotiav, with row 8 going to Mateusz Majka and Kasper Koritz. Row 9 goes to Joe Gillette and David Junt, and Manikanban and Ben Skinner behind them on the grid. 21st goes to Scuderia Freccianera and Freudenhauser behind him in 22nd, with 23rd Mike Bell and Nick Cowper 24th. 25th on the grid will be Owen Kvil-Hauksvig, with Mihailo Vincentievich in 26th place, Yunus Karala and Tawhid Ahmed behind them 27th and 28th. And then we have 29th Josh Dexter, 30th Dan Hutt, and finally Jörn Dix with Salian Motorsport.
Here's a fun fact. Starting P26, Mihailo Vincentievich, the only driver on slick tyres. For race 2, interesting strategy. We'll be intrigued to see whether it pays off for him.
It isn't raining, so at the end of the race it should. Hopefully he can keep his nose out of trouble in the first couple of laps on this very wet track. And I would say that about anyone on slicks, by the way, not just Mihailo, because it is extremely wet. You can see all of the spray coming up from the tyres. We didn't see any of that until the last couple of laps in race 1, so it is still very wet out there. And I think, honestly, it will dry up. Can someone explain to me what Tawhid Ahmed is doing down that back straight? Because that's like the 5th time we've seen him on the grass.
It's illegal, actually. Yeah.
Well, it is. I was trying to explain that earlier. They have disallowed going on the grass, but I just don't think he's doing it deliberately somehow. It feels like he's doing something else at the same time. Or something. Maybe. Anyway, the grid is lining up as Ahmed, we're watching him, goes to his grid slot. And Dix at the very back lines up. No lights. I don't think I can see any, but that's okay. We'll guess.
I'm sure there's lights about right now or so.
Yes, so hopefully for us, Ockenhau gets a good getaway and James Knox alongside him on in second place on the inside as Ockenhau goes away from the grid and holds on to that P1 nice and easy, sweeps across in front of Knox. And we've got Craig Patterson on the outside having a clear run into turn 1. Keep an eye out on him. He's going to go and try and go around the outside of Knox and try and hold that position into turn 2. It's not going to happen for him, unfortunately. It's just too long, that corner, for that to work. And behind them, the two Cap Clays trading paint as they go through the second corner. But it is Ockenhaug who holds on as we see one of the KV86 cars. That I believe that's Noah Tuamela has lost out to his teammate Magnussen, who, by the way, is already up to P6. As down the outside goes Knox, trying to get through on Ockenhaug, but nothing doing there. Ockenhaug holds on, and Patterson goes through. That was just the two coming together, but Patterson now up to P2. Knox, unfortunately, knocked off the track, and Panasenko slips by in the meantime. We're further back with current championship leader Jesse Lahtinen, who has his two rivals actually in front of him. KV86 cars. And down the inside goes Micah. We saw from race 1, he's very aggressive, and he actually makes the move nice and cleanly that time round. So Micah moving himself up to P8 on the opening lap, but generally quite a clean opening lap so far as they dive into the sweeping left and right that leads us onto the back straight.
And it turns out that slick tyres was not the right decision for Vincentievich, already falling back and spinning multiple times, first through the first corner and now in Sector 2, I'm unsure where, and I'm wondering if that Sector 3 is also him. Probably not, but there's still time yet, and this is James Knox looking to get that position back from Seba Panasenko. Going to try down the inside for P3, lose it a little bit, but nicely kept by Seba Panasenko, who's got a better exit and is going to try around the outside, and I think further back That is Matush Micah going wide, and this is free wide into the final corner. Joe Gillett and the two Smile Powers. There's not going to be space here. And that almost ended in ears. Joe Gillett losing out, and that is just a gaggle of cars ahead of him.
Yeah, he did well to back off there, actually, because that... Oh, look at this, 3 wide into turn 1 as well. This could be chaos. And, in fact, they all drove very well there, as we look at Stennis Stoffmeal, who is a little bit sideways. He's lost out a little bit from the... Oh, and who's that bouncing across the inside? Was that Kuritz, potentially?
I think.
It was Kuritz. And and he is on the outside, diving down the inside, back again on Mike Bell. And Bell, why is Bell squeezing quite so tight? They make it through, actually, fine, but Kuritz makes the position through. There's no spray in this middle sector, look, at all. The track is drying fairly rapidly, I would say. Unfortunately for Vincentievich, he is already 21 seconds off the lead. I don't think it's going to work for him. But as you say, it could well be worth a gamble for some tyres in the pit lane, actually. It's a shame nobody decided to gamble on the slicks. It just did look too wet, and I think Vincentievich proved it.
Yeah, and Chouamala ahead of the Apex cars. It was a great race one for them. Not so much for Taras, but it was a good recovery. We got another yellow in Sector 3. It's Casper Kuritz dropping back. And that's unfortunate for him. It's just not a great race weekend this time around. And so is Ben Skinner as well, dropping back. He's 25th now. But Kuritz, P30. And who's that under attack? That's Mikael Tuamala getting almost passed by Patrick and Magnussen. I don't want to say what I was just about to say, but they're touching
wheels
into the hairpin. Oh, that's sideways. The Tuamala well held, but Magnussen's going to have a better exit compared to him, and this could be a move into turn 1.
Yeah, I think Magnussen has very good pace here in whatever condition we seem to run in. And with the track drying, he fancies his chances at a double race win, I would say, from that position. He's not that far back. It's not exactly like Magnus Ockenhaug is destroying the field, although he did set the fastest lap on the previous lap, but it was soon beaten by Craig Patterson, who's P3, and we're watching him as he's trying to get by James Knox for P2.
Well, Knox is defending like he's got a fort up in his name, so...
Very good. There is a little bit of drizzle again, so anyone, so that throws the slick tyre gamble out the window anyway. It does look like the rain is back, and so therefore those starting on wets, everyone apart from Vincentievich will be very happy with that. Kuritz is in the pits. I don't know if he's pitting or he's out. He has a penalty.
Speeding, must be.
Yeah, so he got a penalty. So he's in the pits. Okay, he's changed to slicks and got a penalty for speeding, and it started to rain. Not ideal situation there for Casper Kuritz, and unfortunately that will be it, I would say, for him. Although he did lose, so pit stop showing about 25-second loss. So yeah, if it had stayed dry, which it hasn't, that would have been an interesting metric to use later in the race as potential for anyone pitting for slicks. That's not going to happen now, as Magnussen does make a move this time around down the inside of Tuamala. Mikael Tuamala. Yeah, and he's still got an overlap, but Tuamala's going to hold that line. We do see this at China. The last couple of corners are a bit like this. It's an old Herman Tilke trick. He's done this at Turkey as well, with a sort of left, right, left ends to the lap with slower corners. You end up with people swapping positions, trying to cut back, but not happening. Oh, as Magnussen tries to nose his way through on the inside at turn 1, and this could actually work for him. The outside line not too bad in the wet, but yeah, Tuamala dives back down the inside, blocks the apex, and Magnussen will have to find another way through. The slipstream not quite powerful enough for Magnussen. Here's a good place to send it down the inside, but I don't think he's close enough. And was slightly late on the brakes though, Tuamala. The opportunity was sort of there, but not enough. But
look at Knox though. So close to Magnus Ockenhaug, actually. half a tenth between them, and this could be
They're
the
side
move.
by side, yeah, they're side by side. So Knox has the inside line here. Ockenhaug trying to fight his way around the outside. They give each other room. That's very good driving from the pair of them, but this is allowing Patterson to close up. And actually, it's a four-way battle for the lead. There's a bit of a gap back to Tuamala, and Knox through and takes the lead from Magnus Ockenhaug, who will now have the slipstream down the very long back straight and will be fancying his chances into the hairpin, although Knox does seem to have got a better drive out of the long, fast right-hander onto the back straight.
Yeah, and he's also got these two racy-looking cars behind him, the cap player Panasenko and Craig Patterson. Craig Patterson looks to the outside. We've seen it happen before. Not in place to try for an overtaking Ockenhaug. Looking to the inside. Oh, there was very almost contact there. I thought he was just trying to fill the mirrors, but it was half attempt at a move. And the battle between Magnussen and Tuamala still going, but Magnussen just can't make a move on Tuamala. It's a defensive masterclass from the Finnish driver.
Yeah, he wants to keep Magnussen behind him, defending for his teammate Panasenko in front of him. He knows if Magnussen gets through, he probably won't see him again, due to Magnussen's pace advantage he had in qualifying in race 1 in mixed conditions as well. So Magnussen definitely trying to get by the cork in the bottle, which is Mikhail Tuamala.
Yeah, but look at the gap now between Panasenko and Tuamala, because that lead train is falling back thanks to the battle between these two, Ockenhaug and Knox. Ockenhaug out-braking himself and falling off the back of Knox, and you can see it, Tuamala. There's not that much of a gap between those two cap play cars, and this is very much an opportunity for this battle, which was a 4-car battle, to turn into a much larger battle. I think it would go to P10 or P1.
Yeah, all the way back to Micah potentially. Micah Ribbley. Certainly Micah is still on that train. There's a little bit of a space back to Ribbley behind him. The Optimal's not showing that they have that much pace this time out of China in comparison to what they've had before. Ribbley certainly has been top 5 driver this season pretty consistently actually. But James Knox showing what he can do. He has got a bit of a gap this time round, and probably won't be under pressure from Ockenhaug as they head into the hairpin. And we are on lap 5, so there is, I can't do maths, 9 laps left to go.
5 minus 14 minus 5 is 9.
Yes.
You can pull out a calculator if need be, but yeah. You could also see that last lap it did say 10 laps ago. Either way, Tuamala's falling back, got overtaken by Mashu's Micah. Got put down into P9 now, and Magnussen still not able to get past Tuamala, and Tuamala now on the back of Panasenko too, and I think it was Nick Kleiper who's falling back thanks to that yellow flag. And I think
look at this!
Was involved. Ockenhaug down the inside into turn 1. Sorry, I was just talking about something completely different, and Knox loses P1 to Ockenhaug, but I don't think he's going to let that slide too easily.
Yeah, I think he just got a really poor exit out of the final corner. Got a bit squirrely on the curb, and Magnus Ockenhaug needed no, or took no hesitation in taking that position back from James Knox. So back to where we were at the start of the race. Lahtinen here, not making the progress he would want, but he is right behind his championship rival Magnussen. So Lahtinen's driven quite well, I would say, this round, minimising the damage, maximising the points, hasn't been involved in too many scraps, and has picked up the pieces nicely in race 1 as well, from what happened to Micah. Here's a little replay at the start. So this is Vicentijevic on those slick tyres. I assume we're about to see him rotate through turn 1. I don't think there was anything Vicentijevic could do there, to be honest with you. It just seemed like a 2-into-1 does not go. Here's Oliver Taras down the back straight, and something happened to him as well, I presume. Yes. Oh dear.
Murder from behind.
Do you know what? They all got away with that a bit more than they should have done, really.
Well, the 0-1 helped him pass those two cars, really.
Yeah. There was I don't know if it was a Fraccianera that went into the back of him. Oh no. That's not
going to work.
Yeah, Josh.
And I feel bad whoever that academy car is. I think that was Foulkes.
Yes.
I don't actually. Is the other academy driver racing? And I haven't seen much of them this race.
Yeah, it's who is it? What's going on here? Yeah, Gutt. Unfortunately, yeah, he came in the pits, changed the slicks, changed back to wets, had a penalty. His race
Went to bed.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't blame him, frankly. It's Foulkes and Sander.
I think I was dropping back.
You're absolutely right. Something's happened to Pansenko at the final corner. What has happened to Pan? DNF.
DNF'd.
Wonder if he's binned it on that curb. Wonder if he's binned it on that curb. Well, we're literally about to find out. Let's have a little look. So, oh, it's going to be a disconnect, is it not?
One or disconnect?
Let's. Oh dear, yeah, that's sad for Seba Pansenko. Saw this happen to Owen McGorgy whilst leading it at Super League in the Super League race at Japan. Very unfortunate when that happens. It's the worst way to go, and honestly, it's just the nature of online racing, unfortunately. But it really is gutting when that happens, and I feel sorry for anyone who happens to genuinely. So unfortunately for him, Pansenko does not finish this race. As we watch Micah, who by the way has made up loads of positions and once again has very good pace, must be really cross with himself for what happened in race 1. But he's all the way up to P5. Look at that 10 positions gained up. I didn't realise it was quite that many, but yeah. Micah started P15. Of course he did, because he was the last point scorer in race 1, and he's all the way up to P5. He's not out of this yet. In fact, he's made his way past Magnussen, who is the other person with loads of pace today. Stoffmeal as well has lots of pace, but he didn't have a great opening lap, if I recall, and sadly for him, he's fighting his way back through, but he's in 12th place and he's about to make a move, I think, on Kurt Rotiav and dives down the inside into the hairpin, and through he goes, and Rotiav sensibly gives him the room.
Yeah, it's well respectful racing, and this is the battle for the championship. Effectively, Lahtinen on the back of Magnussen. This will be an interesting fight, to say the least, and Lahtinen not got the best start, but he's now fighting and very close to the back of Magnussen. It's not even a metaphor at this point, as Vakanov fell down a few places further back down to P15. There's a bit of a fight between Dexter and also between Manakanda and Vakanov, but we're watching this one between Lahtinen and Patrick Magnussen, and you don't understand the temptation that is there to say Patrick Magnussen and Lasse Lahtinen.
These two, I think, we're going to be saying this quite a lot this season, actually, to be honest with you, Alex. They definitely have been the class of the field so far, and they are putting away for 6th and 7th, as you say. Edin Mike has caught up to Tuomala, and he's not that far away from Patterson, Knox and Ockenhaug in front as well. So keep an eye out on that particular development. He's only 4 and a bit seconds off the lead, so it's not completely all over for the podium positions.
Yeah, we don't have times on the time screen, which is on our screen, and yeah, we've got a bit of a battle going on, but look at those gaps. There are none for the most part. The biggest gap I can see on the screen is 3.3 between Mike Bell and Kurt Rutjob, ignoring the times at the bottom of the screen there, which are much bigger, and those don't count because I don't want them to.
No, I agree. I mean, the gaps are very, very tight, and as you can quite clearly see from Tuomala back, it's all within a second, or there or thereabouts, all the way back to Mike Bell, who, by the way, has made it 10 positions in P13. Can score a handy 3 championship points for Smart Power if it stays like that. Oh, look at this from Knox, swerving about, trying to find his way by Magnussen. He's going to try and go around the outside. There really is no way that can ever happen at turn 1 here. There just is not enough grip around the outside, and the corner just tightens too much. It's not worth even trying. But he is looking racy, and he does look like he has the faster package right now than Ockenhaug. So, and these three, as you say, they are very tight together. And Micah is slightly reeling them in by a tenth or two every sector. It's not going to be quite enough, I don't think, unless these three start battling away. And they do have the advantage of slipstreaming each other as well, which is not to be underestimated here, as that 2003 Minardi's-esque livery for Team RMG. James Knox is going through this sector and actually hasn't gained that much on Ockenhaug. Past and behind him looks more like he's closed in, I think.
Absolutely. And Knox still fighting with Ockenhaug. You saw that move around turn 1. It's not a place you try to overtake, but Knox was actively trying to prove you wrong, as you're saying, oh, it's probably not the place to overtake around the outside of turn 1, and he's falling back off the back of Ockenhaug. Not going to get the full benefit of slipstream down the straight, but it's going to keep him close enough. And like you said, it's just going to be sort of a slinky effect for these top 3 drivers who are going to be in that slipstream, then out of that slipstream, and further back to Amala under pressure from Ribbley, and Ribbley straight past the Finnish driver. And speaking of Finnish drivers, that's contact between Ribbley and Tuomela on the inside, and that's not going to end too well for both of those drivers, but it doesn't seem to have affected them that much. And Magnussen's still behind Tuomala further ahead, while Micah up in P4. I don't think he's going to catch those leading drivers. Stoffmeal on the inside of Taras into turn 1. Taras holding it around the outside, but like you said, there's just no grip out there. But he's going to have the inside line into turn 2, so this should be a very simple move. And it does scare me watching these cars go around turn 2, because I always think they're going to have a bit of a tangle when they go in so hot compared to the car in front.
The spray will be a difficult thing as well, by the way. So if you're following that pack, and the spray is quite strong in race 2, it's definitely wetter conditions that we saw in race 1. It's definitely wetter in race 2 than it was in race 1. Did I say that right first time? I don't feel like I did. Either way, the spray is going to be a problem if you're driving behind another car throwing up the water. Oh, as Taras just looks like he's a little bit wide. He's going to cling on to the track, but he's not. And do you know what? Stoffmeal did really well to give him room there, because he didn't have much of an overlap. And that could...
Oh, never mind. There goes that room, and Taras straight into the barrier, and there's not much Stoffmeal could really do there.
I'd have to see that again. I just don't know. I feel like Stoffmeal might have understeered into it.
And Taras is out of the race. I feel like he... Oh,
that's right. No, it's all good. So, yeah, so Stoffmeal did really well to give him room there. That Taras was not that alongside. And then...
Oh, Taras just lost the rear and went into the front of Stoffmeal.
Such a racing incident, I would say.
Very unfortunate.
I felt like Stoffmeal had just kind of understeered through the middle part of the corner and then got grip again. And slid towards him as Ian Dix in and out of the pit lane.
Huh?
Watching the replay now, I think something else might... Okay, yeah. Just disconnect? Weird.
Yeah, the server today doesn't seem to be enjoying having drivers staying in the race. But Magnussen, again, he will try and overtake through turn 1 in the wet. There's no space or grip, and it's scary to watch Tuomala on the outside losing.
Oh, that's way too deep! And then just throwing it down the inside. That was a bit strong from Jesse Lahtinen. Yeah, he's nice. I don't know whether we've missed a little bit of... it seems a little bit more aggressive this lap round. Magnussen's going to do well to hold on to that one. This has been a little stronger than I would say it needed to be. And Lahtinen looks like he needs to screw his head back on through the next couple of corners and not do anything silly. Magnussen as well, equally. Yeah, something's happened here, because you can just see from the body language of the cars, they're just a bit more agitated than they were when we were last watching them scrap away.
Yeah, but I don't understand what this sort of driving is doing, because we've seen it before. Lahtinen, while he is aggressive and it works, it just sometimes it becomes impatient. It's very interesting to see how the drivers just become impatient when they're stuck behind another driver. And Magnussen, not really an example of that, but he's struggling to get past Tuomala, who's done a great job of keeping Magnussen behind him.
Yeah, and in fact has gapped him a little bit on this particular lap. This has been pretty good, the driving standards, and it's been the wettest race we've had this season. And honestly, it's a little bit backwards, isn't it, that we've had a lot of dry races, and as soon as we get a full wet race, everyone drives a bit better, as James Knox definitely lost some momentum this time round, and Patterson is the closest he's been for a while and is lining up a move around the outside again. I don't think he has the overlap to make this work. He's better off trying to stick his nose back down the inside here through the second part of turn one. Not quite close enough to make that happen, but yeah, James Knox definitely too wide onto the curb, and chose kind of to take the escape route rather than try and hold it on the curb. It's probably a wise thing to do, but he lost a lot of momentum there, and look who is behind them. Matish Micah has definitely caught them a bit over the last lap or two, and is eyeing up a P2 from 15th place, remember, on the grid. So again, Micah making huge progress in the race. Let's hope this time, for his sake, that he can hold on to it.
Yeah, and Micah, this time around, didn't take a gamble, wisely, sort of following the rest of the pack. But I suppose in round one, or in race one even, it was a good gamble because it got him from the back to the middle of the pack, and now he's challenging for a race 2 podium as he's right on the back of Craig Patterson. 4 attempts between them, and this is Lahtinen again on the back of Patrick Magnussen, but behind him, Massimiliano Griboli in the optiminal, which is going to be a little bit of additional pressure as he sort of, in a way, gets held up. I don't really want to say he gets held up, but now Griboli is right on the back of Lahtinen too, so this could very well be a free wide battle through into the hairpin at the end of the track, and Craig Patterson.
Yeah, he's got it done this time. Surely he's got it done this time. Yeah. Oh, he's locked up. He's locked the fronts up. He's gone wide. That means Knox can cut him back a little bit, although Patterson, by running wide, gets a better exit out of the corner and does move through into P2. So Patterson finally taking that position off Knox. He's been trying to do it the entirety of the race and finally does make it his way through, but he's now got the charging Matish Micah behind James Knox, and those two not that far back as there's 2 laps to go. It looks like Ockenhauger's got enough of a gap at this stage and probably will go on to win this race, but it's all going to be about who takes P2, and there's 3 drivers in it, and I didn't expect to be saying that a few laps ago. There's 2 drivers in it for P2 now as Micah drops a wheel onto the grass and loses a good couple of seconds.
Yeah, and commentator's car is playing its hand very, very quickly there. We raised by 50 and told us to fold.
A wild analogy from Alex there.
I don't know what I'm trying to say at this point, but Mikael Tuomala still under pressure by Patrick Magnussen. Jasso Lahtinen, not as close as he was last lap around, and that's probably a bit of alleviated pressure for Patrick Magnussen as I say that. Lahtinen straight on the back again.
Yes, and I don't think this is over. I don't think this particular scrap is over. I would say Lahtinen probably will have another go before the race is over on Magnussen. Tuomala actually falling into their clutches somewhat. I don't know, I mean, we can't see live tyre wear data, of course, but I don't know what their tyres shape is like what condition their tyres are
round
in right now. Thank you. In terms of percentage wear, it would be interesting to see who has looked after the tyres the best and who's kept them the most round out of everyone.
Yeah, you can absolutely get flat spots on these tyres, and along that long straight, it won't be comfortable either. Of course, you get the force feedback of that, and it will shake all the way along that mile-long straight, and it won't be very comfortable for your wrists. And oh, Griboli almost losing it, trying to avoid the back hub. Jasse Lahtinen, and he's going to be right on the back, and he's going to have that slipstream going into turn 1. So I'm wondering now if he can make a move as we head on to the final lap of this race.
Yes, and the gap between Knox and Patterson at the line was about 3/10, so there's that fight's definitely not finished. And Micah only 9/10 further back as well, so he could still do something.
Yeah, this battle is very much still going to go to the end, and Knox as well. Not out of the picture for P2 on the back of Patterson. That gap is still very close, and Knox might have just bided his time perfectly here to get a good run onto that final straight and make a move onto Patterson just before the line. It's very much a possibility, and yeah, it's still strategy to be left. Patrick Magnussen falling off the back of Tuamala. He's sort of comfortably in 6th, and Tuamala ahead. He's got a safety pocket around him, but Larsen and Magnussen still going to be battling right to the end, like the battle for P2. This is technically the battle for the championship lead. The positions won't be good enough to change the championship as they are. It's still going to be gaining for Patrick Magnussen if he's able to stay ahead.
Micah,
4-10 gap.
Mike has a great run on Knox coming out that sweeping banked corner. He's, well, as they come through the banked corner, he's might be close enough to pick up enough of a slipstream. It's very tight. This is going to be Magnus Ockenhaug's victory for sure at this stage, and he will take his first victory of the season. He had a P2 in race to Australia. It's worked out nicely for him in these conditions. He's going to take the victory, but it's not going to be good enough for Micah. He's too far back from Knox. Here comes Lahtinen on the outside of Magnusson on the last lap of the race. They make a little bit of contact on the apex. It looks like Lahtinen isn't going to be able to squeeze through. Stoffmehl on the inside. Great victory for Ockenhaug as he slides his way over the start-finish line. Well done to him for Optiminal. They are still side by side, Stoffmehl and Ribbley. And in fact, it's going to be Stoffmehl that takes P8 off Ribbley in Optiminal at the very last moment. Tuamala just ahead, slowing down as he crosses the line, but he did enough to finish P5. We're looking at Tawhid Ahmed, who seems to be still on the track down the back straight. Yunus Carrala trying to make his way through as they head into the final corner. There's enough of an overlap there. Carrala's going to send it, but no, sweeping through and off the track goes Tawhid Ahmed. He holds on to that position. Unfortunately, no points for these guys further back. But yes, what a race by Ockenhaug. He managed to trade positions early on with Knox and eventually held onto it to take a stunning win for Optiminal.
Yeah, and the second academy driver who's stayed out of incident for the most part is Ben Skinner, getting the last laugh in the race, spinning at the second to last corner, the hairpin on the traction. Oh, he could have spun at the final corner as well, but that, I believe, is the last of all of our finishes then.
What a race, actually. Really good. Good quality, decent driving standards for the most part. Good to watch. I'm glad that the first race of the season, we got to see that was fully wet. Shows what these guys are actually capable of, and well done for that. So thank you guys for putting on a good show for us this time around. Let's go through the results then, when they can come up. So here we go. So Magnus Ockenhaug for Optiminal takes the victory from Craig Patterson. A great result for him for Priority 1. And James Knox P3 for Team RNG. Micah could have had more. Kind of threw it away, but will be nonetheless happy to make up 11 positions for P4. Mikhail Tuamala holding off Magnussen and Lahtinen for P6 and P7. Senat Stoffmehl, excuse me, taking 8th position for Ribbley, and Noah Tuamela rounding out the top 10. Kurt Rodyav in 11th place for Reading Game, followed by Mike Bell, Bobby Bakuinov, Joe Gillette, and Mano Manakandan rounding out the points, with Filip Chavinsky and Dexter Vertreci just missing out, actually, on points, with Florian Hauser, David Junt, and Phil Halsvig rounding out the top 20. Behind them, the last of the finishers was Dan Hutt, Tawhid Ahmed, Karala, Sandak, and Skinner. And then the DNFs were Oliver Taras, Vicentievich, who unfortunately made the wrong call on tyres. It looked like the right call, because it didn't look like it was going to rain. It definitely dried up in the first couple of laps, but unfortunately for him, it started raining again. Jörn Dix, Seba Panasenko, and Nick Kauper. And I believe, yes, Kasper Kuritz was the final DNF. and for him it was a nightmare. He pitted to change the slicks. It started raining and he sped in the pit lane, so changed back to wets, and by that point it was game over.
Did we not have 32 in race 2? Who did we lose for, sorry, in race 1? Who did we lose for race 2?
Yes.
Great answer.
Next up is San Marino in 2 weeks' time. That is on the 30th of April. Between now and then, though, there are 3 more races here at the Shanghai International Circuit. We have Formula Sprint 1 on Thursday, which will be 2 races there. And then next Tuesday will be Super Lights, and followed by our Premier Championship Super League on the Thursday. So keep an eye out for those races. Right, thank you ever so much, everyone, for watching race 2. We have got a few people looking for interviews, so we will head into the interview section of this broadcast, which has been commented on as being a podcast. I do feel like we have a lot of fun here, though, so hopefully you guys are too. Menno Klont is waiting for an interview. He doesn't count. Magnus Ockenhaug I would like to speak to, though, so let's speak to Magnus. Hello, Magnus. How's it going?
It's going good.
I would expect so. An interesting fight the first few laps. Were you concerned that it was going to dry up? Obviously, we started on wets. Pretty much everyone started on wets. There was only one driver on slicks. And then, of course, it dried up pretty much immediately. And then the rain started. I mean, how did you feel?
I was not really concerned. If we knew, like, even if it was going to dry up, it will not be dry enough for the slick tires to work. So we just stick to the ground. And hitting a mark that I was a bit concerned when James Knox overtook me early on, and I was scared he was going to pull away. But he had a moment in the last corner, so that made me like regain the lost time when he overtook me. And after that, was like more or less smooth sailing. Like it was quite straightforward. Like don't run wide, just hit the marks.
Yes, that is the way to win a race. Actually, you just gotta, once you have the lead, you just gotta make sure you don't make any little mistakes like Knox did. And it does mean that you take the victory. And of course, that is your first victory of the season. You had a P2 at Australia, and that does bring you back towards the front of the pack. Are you thinking this could be a start of something bigger?
It's too early to say yet. I would say towards the summer break, I would have a more clear picture. But also, like, it's the first win of GPV overall. So, like, it's not only first of the season, it's the first in FS2.
Yes. Yeah, congratulations for that. Well done, mate. Alex, any questions?
I'm just curious about race 1. When in qualifying, were you considering the possibility of a wet race at all, or did you use your completely dry setups, or did you even consider using a wet setup this one?
Like approach we had like the track was damp, but not like wet enough for qualifying. So we went with the dry setup, and then I don't know what happened, but the track conditions didn't suit like go our way in qualifying, so we was a bit down. And then for race 1, it was all about surviving and try and reach the inside the top 10 and maybe get a reverse grid pole. And luckily, it went our favor. And then for race 2, we actually changed to the wet setup we had because we was debating about it in qualifying, but then we changed our mind and just stick with the dries because it was not wet enough.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Magnus. Well done, mate. Good victory, and you drove really well in race 2, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's speak to Patrick Magnusson, who, of course, won race 1 by a significant margin. Well done, Patrick, for that race 1 victory. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Not bad, thank you very much. Not
How
bad
was the race this time?
Do you know what? Race 2 was really good. A little up and down in race 1, but it was a good watch. It was interesting. The first full wet race of the season was the best driving standards. So
it was like 60 track water or something.
Yeah, really, that's really wet actually.
Oh yeah.
So obviously race 1 went and qualifying went really well for you. Race 2, you were kind of locked in a battle with Latin.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to say that a lot this season.
Yep, until he has to go for military, which is, I don't know when. But yeah, we had some nice scraps. Race 2, we had less speed to get more performance in the rain, but we ended up getting too little speed and we could not overtake it all. So I'm pretty happy with that P6 in the end.
Yeah, I wondered if that might be the case because obviously in the wet setup you do increase the downforce, but that back straight is so long. You still need a low wing, don't you?
Yeah, you really do. It's like, I think it's 5/10 a lap.
Wow.
We tested it like with like 3 more like lower wing. It's huge.
Yeah, that's a big gain. Fair enough. Obviously you're right up there with Latin now in the championship, and as you say, he potentially is going to miss some rounds this season. We don't know how many, of course.
He'll stop like halfway in the season.
Okay, so plenty of races for you two to continue your battle until then.
Yep.
KV86 generally seems to have quite a good setup at this round. Is that something you worked on?
Yeah, we worked a lot. We took I don't remember what we used the space, but yeah, we took some inspirations and tried something. And I think after like the first 4 days of prepping, we just finished the setup and just started doing laps. So it went very good, the preparation for this race.
Nice. Perfect. Alex, any questions for Patrick?
Yeah, it's really just a setup question because no one last time said you had a misstep in the setup. Was there anything? Don't tell me obviously what you changed, but was there something that just clicked in the setup, or was it just gradual improvement?
Yeah, first we put the rear wing to 100. Well, yeah, we have been improving a lot over the last few races, especially after Saudi Arabia, where we were miles off the leader space. Then that was kind of a wake-up call for us to start working more and become better. And Rodrigo Carvalho helped us a lot as well with becoming better.
Perfect. Good. Well, thank you, Patrick. Well done in race 1.
Yeah.
Particularly, and we look forward to speaking to you at the next round. Let's have a quick word with Craig before we go. Craig Patterson, who took another podium this season, so that's in race. In fact, that was your first podium, actually. Sorry, no, it wasn't. No, you did have a podium at Australia. Yeah, you had a podium at Australia. I thought I was right.
Yep, you're right. Yep.
How'd it go?
Stressful. I like driving in the rain. It's always a challenge, but I seem to excel more in the wet than I do in the dry. But yeah, that was good fun. Props to James Knox. Good battling, clean as well. But yeah, I'm glad that race is over because that was Mike Gill was getting me concerned catching up towards the end. So I'm glad we managed to hold on for another podium, and congrats to Magnus. He's been wanting that win for a long while. He's got it now, so that's a monkey off his back.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say Micah kind of. I was anticipating something was going to happen because in race 1 he threw away a good position as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and of course it did happen. He did drop it slightly, and that took the pressure off, I suppose. So it was easy, smooth sailing for you then after that.
Yeah, I saw he ran wide on the penultimate lap, so it was just a case of trying to just build up enough gap that James couldn't benefit from slipstream down the back straight. But thankfully, I managed to maintain that gap of about 7-8 tenths pretty much for the last 2 laps that I overtook James. So yeah. Perfect.
Next round is San Marino. Is that obviously the Imola circuit? Is that a good track for you? Do you think?
Well, it didn't go well last year. I think I finished out the points and I DNF'd in race 2, so there's a bit of a redemption for Imola. I do like Imola; it's a good track. So yeah, we'll look to get some redemption from there and get some more points.
Cool. Alex, any questions?
No, nothing. But good job on P2 Craig.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully, better luck in Imola this time around.
Yeah, second and third, next top step of the podium.
Absolutely. That's the spirit.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Nice one, Craig. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Cool. Right. Well, so there we are. Happy days. We have completed another round. Only another. Oh, I can't do maths. 12?
Yeah,
yes, 12 rounds left.
We really do need to get you like a calculator next year.
It's not that. It's just I woke up. I wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning 6:30.
That's no excuse. I was up at 5, so.
Well, okay, you win. You win this particular round, sir. I've had a lovely time, as I always do, commentating. Thank you for joining me, Alex. Final thoughts?
Genuinely, it was one of the more interesting races we've had this season. We were slating the rest of the races. Oh, this could be one of the best races we've had, but no, it all turned out to be a flop. But not this one. I had low expectations going into this round, but I've been proven wrong.
Absolutely. Yes, it was decent standards, generally speaking. So good news for the championship. Thank you ever so much for watching, everyone. Thank you to Vincent Gutt, the voice in my ear. And thank you to Chris Williamson as well for directing the race and removing the penalty from Joe Gillette. That was a great call. Definitely looked like something that should happen, and that's what he's here for. So thank you, Chris. And we will look forward to seeing you all. Well, we won't, but GPV will on Thursday for Formula Sprint 1. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be at Imola, myself and Alex. Until then, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Bye.